Hello everyone, I'm Trish Lynch from IOHR TV. Welcome to our London studios for another episode of NGO Focus. Now, sport, as we know, really can change someone's lives in many parts of the world, as well as right here in London, where hundreds of students who are mainly from disadvantaged backgrounds have been inspired through the incredible work of Football Beyond Borders. And they help with those young teenagers to move on with their lives. With us today is Ceylon Hickman, Head of Volunteering at Football Beyond Borders, which is an NGO founded right here in London to inspire and motivate young people. Ceylon, great to have you with us. Thanks for coming today for this very early start.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us the story behind the birth of Football Beyond Borders, because I believe it all started with a conversation on a train.
It started at the university, at SOAS University in London, and it was founded by a group of friends. They were obsessed with football, and they all played for a university football team. And our founder, Jasper Kane, used to be a professional footballer as a young person. He was released at 17 years old, and that led to him kind of falling out of love with the game. He didn't want anything to do with football until he went to SOAS University, where he met a group of friends and he started to fall back in love with football and realised that football can be much more than just the professional game. Football Beyond Borders, in the name, it started internationally. So SOAS University football team, many of whom who are on that team are employed by us today and still founded the organisation. They took a football team around the world and they played football matches in Jordan, Syria, I think Libya. They went to Brazil. Then the London riots happened in 2011 and all of them shifted their focus a little bit and thought something isn't right at home. There are young people who are disillusioned, who have been left behind by society, by their education, and they're angry about something. So the focus shifted, and in 2011 they started running football sessions for the local community in Camberwell in South London. From there, Jasper Kane, our founder, his best friend from school was a teacher at a school called the Archbishop Lanfranc in Croydon. And he said, I've got a group of boys who are obsessed with football but really are not getting on at school. And their behaviour is poor in school, and I'm really worried about where they're going to go. 7 years later, we're now in running 43 schools programmes. 7 of those are in the northwest of England, all with that same model of 1 hour in the classroom and 1 hour on the football pitch.
If they don't do that hour before they go and play football, are they kicked off the course?
No, we wouldn't. We would never kick off a young person off our programmes. We might ask you, if a young person is particularly challenging in the classroom in that session, we might ask them to take a break, come back in a week or 2 weeks.
Okay.
But we would never ever kick a young person off a programme. Kind of very contradictory to the work that we do and what we believe. So they have to get through that hour in the classroom. The hour in the classroom is designed so it's not something that's tedious or boring. So the whole philosophy of FBB is that you put a young person's passions and their interests at the heart of their learning.
Tell me the kind of problems that most of these young people would have. I know many of them are from disadvantaged backgrounds. Some of them are at danger of being excluded from school. What are the kind of problems do they have?
Anything that the young person is doing behaviourally is just them communicating something else. The kind of challenges that they face really, really differ. We've got young people who, as I said, do not get on in the mainstream education system because they can't get that tailored support. We have students with special educational needs. We have students who are living in poverty. We have students with severe mental health issues. Young people generally who feel like they've been left behind by society and are disengaged, and they don't have a reliable adult in their life for various reasons. Whenever we're working with a young person, we always start from that position of understanding, getting behind that behaviour. Why are they not able to stay in their lesson? Why are they distrustful of adults? Why are they why is their first instinct to be physical, to react physically in a situation? What are those causes and their triggers? And then we can get behind that and work with them and support them and be that stable relationship in their life and that continuous adult in their life that they can form a meaningful and trusting relationship with. You
stay with these children for 2 years, don't you?
We do.
Why is 2 years the magic number?
If it's a year long, you basically you can't get that sustainability in their life.
It's not long enough. Yeah.
It's not long enough. And there was a moment which was kind of formative for our founder, Jasper. One student who said to him, they'd done a year and they'd taken them on a tour to Scotland at the end, and the boys had never been out of London, and they'd gone and played football in Scotland. And on the bus on the way home, a boy turned to Jasper and he said, "Are you coming back to run this programme?" are you coming back to school in September? And Jasper said, at the time he was sleeping on a sofa, he was working 3 jobs, he was trying to do this as he could, as and when he could. And he looked at him and he said, well, we don't know, we haven't got, I'm not sure if we'll be able to fund it or I can afford to. And he said, you're a snake, you're just like the rest of them.
Oh.
You come in here and then you leave. You make promises and you leave. And then from that moment, that just transformed everything. It was like, no, if we're to do this and we're going to do this properly, we commit to 2 years with these young people. We build those relationships and we support them to whatever those next steps are.
Tell me how you quantify when it's been a success. We spoke earlier before the cameras were rolling and you told me some really incredible statistics. Tell me more about those.
We take a control group in every school that we work with. So we have our young people and we monitor their attendance, behaviour incidents, and the teacher also assesses their attitude to learning, and they assess their own attitude to learning at the start and the end of the programme. With our schools last year, of those control groups, in the first year cohort, so when we were measuring them against their control group, they had 28% fewer incidents of bad behaviour at school, and in the group in their second year had 45% fewer incidents of bad behaviour.
They're incredible figures, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's down to the incredible work of the practitioners who have been working with those groups for 2 years.
Obviously, those figures are a success in themselves, but is there any particular story, any particular young person who has been inspirational, who you can tell us about today?
Deborah was a participant in the early days at a school called Chestnut Grove in Balham. She was 14 when she first encountered FBB, and she was at risk of exclusion. She had a lot of personal issues in her life, and she was on this programme, and she always says to me, because I didn't know her then, she always says to me, Ceylon, you did not want to know year 9 Deborah. You would not recognise her. Through FBB, she was with us for 3 years on a programme. She's now 17 years old. She's doing her A-levels and she's employed by FBB as an assistant in the classroom and on the pitch. So she runs the girls programme with me.
Now, I know that many of the movers and shakers and the big names in football, Premier League football, have got behind this project. Tell me about those big names that have really helped.
We've had Chris Smalling of Manchester United has been an incredible person for us. He got involved, came down to Brixton, where our community hub is based in the Angel Town estate. He met our young people, did a football session with our young people. We've also had Ryan Bertrand. We've also had Alex Scott recently. She's obviously first female pundit on BBC, most capped Arsenal women's player ever. She came down and did a session with the girls and also donated all of her ex-boots, all of her old boots that she's worn for years. We've had involvement from Eni Aluko, one of my favourite players in the world. She is a real role model for me, and she was involved in the earlier days. Santi Cazorla of Arsenal, he was a patron, so he's been involved with us.
Ceylon, if there's anybody watching this programme that would love to get involved and would love to find out more, teachers, young people, where do they go?
If you are a teacher and this is something that you think would be beneficial in your school, get in touch with us via our website. I think if you're a policy maker or an influential person within an organisation, consider how you can involve young people in the conversation. Do you have young trustees on your board? Do you have a youth network that's informing your practice? Come to us, chat to us about it.
Ceylon Hickman, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story, a real feel-good story, so thank you for that. And thank you for joining us for another episode of NGO Focus. Don't forget, you can see lots of other episodes of NGO Focus on our website. And please do feel free to share this and let as many people know the good story as you possibly can. Until next time, from myself, Trish Lynch, goodbye.